Yeah, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Obsidian for TTRPGs. And so, I know last week I didn't get one up. There were a couple reasons for it. One, holidays and all that. The other was I was preparing the video and I came across something that threw me off. I couldn't remember how I did it originally. And so I had to go research and figure that back out, and you'll understand this completely because it's the first thing we're going to do. So we're going to be looking at fantasy stat blocks today, but before we do that, let's go ahead and just make sure everything is all updated. I like to always, make sure everything's updated. Looks like there's a Royal Velvet update, which is the theme we're currently using. You can use whatever theme you want. And then also under about, this one I don't think there is an update. Checking. Actually, it looks like there might be. Okay, I guess it's relaunching now. It actually opened up in one of my other windows, so I'm not sure why it did that. So now it should say it's fine, I think. Yep, your app is up to date. And the final one, of course, is community plugins. Let's go make sure those are all updated, and then we will jump in. So it looks like there's 4 dataview, various complements, dice roller, and the editing toolbar. So one thing that's kind of cool with this latest update that I did see is it changes how tables are, which means we might be able to get rid of advanced table toolbar. And I'll show that in a different video. I want to focus on fantasy stat blocks right now. So anyway, if we come in here and then we go down to our fantasy stat blocks, actually maybe I should show you here. So I need to put this up on my Discord. I need to remember to do that. So inside templates here, I have one called My Templates. And in here, I have fantasy stat blocks for Pathfinder 2E. Now, ultimately, if you're using D&D 5E, what I'm going to be teaching you will actually show you how to actually make your own. But in this case, these are ones that I've actually gone through from the templates that, well, not templates, I don't know what to call it. Maybe boilerplates from fantasy stat blocks, and these all the boilerplates, I guess, I actually got from that Pathfinder 2E thing that we went over last time. But you'll notice here that, like, when I open this, it doesn't quite look right. For one, if we go look, there is nothing in here called proficiency bonus, challenge, or a language is probably in here. No, actually, it's not for an action stat block. So this is just kind of a default. And the weird thing is even though in fantasy stat blocks, I say my default fantasy stat block is a Pathfinder 2E one, it still seems to be reverting back to a D&D 5E one. So each of these stat blocks, you'll notice that we have our standard, we have a property and the value associated with that property or assigned to that property. So for example, here we have layout, Pathfinder 2E action layout. So this is the name, maybe that's the name, not boilerplate, layouts. So the reason this is showing up more like a D&D 5e one, and let's say the basic one here is not, this is actually showing up how it should as a template, is what I want. It's what I couldn't figure out, and that's what I wanted to show you what it actually was. And it has everything to do with some JSON files in our layouts up here that looks like it's empty, but that's because it's JSON files instead of MD files. So I know this is really confusing. I know I say that a lot with our last videos because a lot of this stuff is very confusing. But what I kind of want you to pay attention to here is these different things. So we have something called columns 1, which is a simple thing saying that I want this in a single column. The only other option I believe for that is a 2. But those are basically your thing. And then we can force those columns where it won't be dynamic. You know, if it says, oh wait, this isn't going to fit, I'm going to make it 2 columns or whatever, or 1 column. That's what that is. This is the important one right here. This is referring to its layout that's set up in Fantasy Statblocks. Now, one difference you see here is this one's actually called Pathfinder 2e Action Layout. And this one right here is called Basic Pathfinder 2e Layout. And just to show you what it looks like if you fill it in, if we come into here, this is one where I have a Sorcerer's Skull Swarm. Which is this name right here. So what it's going to do is when I put in a name value, it's going to go and search its internal database, so to speak, and see if it can find that. And if so, it's going to give you the block for it. However, if it can't find it, then it wants more information, or it'll just give you some plain stuff. What everything in here is actually overrides. So, you know, if I wanted to say it's override, it's creature level 14 here, if I wanted to make it a 24, even though this is something that is like in the bestiary and it's a level 14, you can actually overwrite individual things. So you don't need all this information to do that. All right, I think that might be all I wanted to really go into, just these parts right here. So let's go ahead and look at the Fantasy Statblocks themselves, and I'll point out things that I was hoping you got. So in here, if we scroll down under the layouts, you can see that's the default layout that I want to use. Now, if you're using 5e, obviously you want the basic 5e, but you'll see there's actually some other ones in here. We have Fate Core, we have 13th Age Monster layout, we have a B&B Bestiary layout, we have B&B Familiar layout. I don't know what those ones specifically are. But with the stuff that we downloaded the last episode, let me see if I can find it. Oh. It's right here. So with the stuff that we downloaded in the last episode, and we put in ZZ admin and then in Pathfinder PF2E, we have these layouts, and that's what we need. So you'll notice here we actually have the basic layout. We have action layout, hazard layout, influence layout, misc layout, quest, and settlement, right? I'm going to move that off screen now. So what we need to do is import those, and then everything will actually work. But we're actually going to look at the actual layout to see what it is I actually did to create my templates. So we just want to go here, import from JSON, and then we're going to go ahead and go into our YouTube one here, in this case, ZZ admin, PF2E, and layouts. And we already have the Pathfinder 2E basic layout. If you want, and we can do that right here real quick, we can actually take this one and say delete, just to make sure. Maybe they've had updates to it. I don't know 100% if they have or haven't. So now that we've done that, we've deleted the basic one. Hopefully this will actually put it at the very bottom, I think, as well. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll just start. We have to go here every time. It might be because I didn't actually click one. PF2E, layouts, and we'll start with the basic one. And go ahead and put that in. It did put it on the bottom. Good. And we're just going to go load each one of those. Whoops, that's add a layout. Here, we're going to go ahead and do the action next. Then we're going to do the hazard. And then the influence. And then the misc. Quest. And finally the settlement. Alright, so now you can see we actually have all these ones here. I'm going to choose one that's a little less complex for what I want to show you next. So I think hazard actually is pretty, let me think. Action has some traits and stuff. So if we go under action here and hit edit, what you can see is this little system that's designed for actually creating these. And I did not create these. These were created by that site that we went to. But you'll notice here that there's a property and it's called name. Then here we have a property called trait 01, trait 02, trait 03, trait 04, 5, 6, and 7. Then we have a text box that's called description. We have a property called critical success, which is looking for something called crit underscore success. So that's where it's going to get its value, right? We then have success, failure, crit failure, and then we have traits here. And this is called abilities top. Now, what I've noticed is there's actually 3 abilities, and you might be able to see that inside. Let's close this one. I think the one that has everything is basically the basic layout here. So up here, is this the one? So we have abilities top, abilities mid, and abilities bot, which is top, middle, and bottom. So if any of these things are not in the information, it just simply doesn't output it. But as you can see, like this, we have armor class, health, abilities mid, we have speed, attack, spellcasting, abilities bottom, and then we have our little lines. Now these lines that are here actually will translate to the Pathfinder one instead of the D&D. I know this is extremely confusing, which is why I'll make my templates available to you so you don't have to go do what I did. But what I did was basically I wrote down on a paper in Notepad++ or something all these different things so I could keep track of what their names were, and then created a template that would have these with a blank value. So let's go ahead. We're going to close this out, and now I'm going to show you that same thing, the stat block. So in here you can see it was basic. You can see that we have all those same things. There's rare 01, and I just called it rare 01 so that you can actually see where it is. Did I do something weird? Oh, I might have to restart. Let's go ahead and just do a reload, because I deleted the other one, so I might have to reload. I might use some kind of IDs in the background. There we go. That's a lot better. So if we go to the basic one, here you can see rare 01, rare 02, rare 03, 4, and our traits. I just use T, alignment, size. So this is where you could say its alignment is neutral, although that is now not in Pathfinder Remastered, but size is. So what you can do is come in here and actually fill out your own if you want when you call it into a character sheet. We don't want to change it here in the templates. Technically this one is just an example of the creature, but if we go up here to leaflet, you can actually see one of these more in action. So here you see we have stat block, monster. This is all you really need, is just the monster name. And because I actually have an image, I just override token. So if we look in here, the one that we were just looking at under basic, I believe it was, you'll see that there actually is a thing called token, right? Token name. So what this is going to do is it's going to say, oh, I need a leaflet, which it will end up finding in its dictionary or its database, whatever you want to call it. But then it says, oh, but it needs this instead. So if we launch this or look at it, and hold on, let me just double check my stuff in here. I probably also need this one, maybe? Actually, I bet you I know what it is. I might have actually created the leaflet. So if we go back to the stat blocks, and I don't know that I have time to do this one. At the very bottom here, there's add creature, And in my original, let me go pull it up real quick. So if I go under Statblock, yeah, so if I go into my original one, which I'm going to move over here, you can actually see under here that I've actually created my own creature called Mitflit. So that's why that's not pulling up. If I go click on edit on that, you can see this is the, actually maybe I could do this. I wonder if I could do this. Let's try this. I'm curious if this will work. Let me move that back out of the way. If I say add monster, oh, I can, good. So let's hit paste, and hit OK. And so now, if I do filter, we have B1, which is where the Mitflit is, but where? There we go. There's our Mitflit. So let's go check if it actually works now. All right, let's hope. There we go. So as you can see now, it's accessing that Mitflit from there. As you can see, I believe at the bottom it says it's bestiary, which isn't actually one of the ones I think. I don't remember how I set this part up, but you can see it actually includes the image in there. I don't know why it flips it when you mouse over it, but it does. And you can see its information. So it's lawful evil, small. So you can see those things are being pulled from, in this case, my homebrew creature, and bringing it in here. And of course it has the little dice so that you can roll on them. And if you go look at the thing here, it doesn't have any of the stuff, but because we actually have the homebrew in here, we can do that. Now this does have built in, let's see, let's load one. Let's copy this real quick. Oops, not you. I'm gonna copy this, and we're just gonna go grab a very generic one, maybe like a goblin. I think there's a standard goblin. Let's go double check real quick. Where is it at? Core, bestiary. Probably in here. Bestiary 1. Go down to G and make sure it's just called a goblin. Alright, maybe we'll do a goblin-warrior. So let's go ahead and create a new page. Let's go ahead and create it in here. We'll hit new note. We'll do GOBLIN-WARRIOR. Oops, warrior, like so. And then we'll go ahead and put in our stat block, like so. And we'll get rid of that and just do, I think it's all lowercase, GOBLIN-WARRIOR. It looks like it even has that. All right, so if we do that, that didn't work. All right, I'll have to look into why that didn't work. And it might be that I have to do some kind of linking. I don't remember what I did originally for that. But what I wanted to really point out right now is that to set up these stat blocks, this is where, if you're looking at the layout, you can actually see the fields that it's going to be looking for. I wonder if it needed that. That's not the right one. Let's go to basic real quick. I'm just trying things. I'm sorry. Well, that changed the basic layout, which is what we wanted, but it's not quite showing us what we're looking for. And let me just look really quick. Sorry, I wasn't planning on doing this. Parse formatter for creatures. The plugin will watch the vault for creatures defined in the front. Oh, that might be actually what we want. The bestiary. Oh, this also could be part of it. The plugin will only parse notes inside these folders. So if we go add some real quick, we can go add under ZZ admin slash, is it forward slash? I think it's forward slash core. And then I think we have to say the bestiaries that are in there. Are they just flat out? Yeah, here they are. So we have bestiary 1. We'll add that one. Can I copy you? No. I need to copy it before I do that. So let's do zzadmin tab slash pf tab splash core tab slash and bestiary tab slash, and this is where we can have 2 and 3. I think that's all of them. So if I do that, I click on that one and then do Control C. There we go, Control C. So that one should be 2, and then I should be able to just hit paste and do 3 here. And now I'm going to reload it. I'm not sure if I need to, but I want to just to make sure. Reload. And we'll try once again. This part wasn't actually my goal for this episode, but I'm curious if this will fix it. Oh, I might not need this anymore. Statblock, Goblin Warrior. No, it did not. So I'll look into that, see what I can do. But my main goal for this episode was to kind of show you the association between the layouts and a template if you're making one. So all you have to do is replicate those same fields. Anything an ability top, these are all things that are within it. So you have a name and description. Just like with trigger, we have trigger and trigger description. Effects, we have effect and description. So you would just fill in these values and it would put them where you're wanting them, basically, in the card. I'm going to look more into this. Hopefully next week I'll have another video. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said before, this one is really, really nice, but also really, really complex. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. I will try and put on my Discord channel these templates that I created, these MD files, so they're available to you, and hopefully you can get them to work okay. But if you did enjoy, leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Click that little notification bell. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. Don't forget to tell other people about my channel. The best way to grow a channel is usually word of mouth. Can't really count on the YouTube algorithms to really care about you or help you if you're a smaller YouTuber. It wants to help the big YouTubers get bigger because they already have that following. But anyway, I ramble. So that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.